was a body there. It's just terrible.
It was just after 12 noon Saturday when police say someone walking on Van Sideren Avenue between Herkimer Street and Atlantic Avenue saw what looked like the shape of a body in a black garbage bag. It was in an overgrown grassy area littered with trash by an empty lot. The person called police. The crime scene unit responded immediately, and detectives were out taking pictures and gathering evidence. It is not known how long the body was in the black bag on the street or the gender of the victim. This is a busy street with commuters taking the L subway train and the Long Island Railroad, and there was concern among those passing by.
It just makes me really scared to be around here, especially around this time. I never heard about anything like that before, but hearing about that now is kind of concerning. So I hope people stay safe and everybody just watches where they are.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
And the medical examiner will determine the cause of death when the autopsy is completed. We're in Cypress Hills, Brooklyn. McGee Hickey, Pix 11 News.
How would you like
violence that continues to plague the city? Tonight, a 16-year-old is dead after a double shooting on the Lower East Side. CBS 2's Kieran Dillon spoke to his family and has the latest.
The shooting happened near this busy intersection, and the teenage victim actually collapsed in front of the construction site here behind me. He's now been identified as 16-year-old Isaiah Levine, and his family says it's heartbroken by what happened to him.
To be on, I have no words. Like I can't breathe. Just crying, looking at his pictures all over the house.
As a memorial grows around his Manhattan apartment building, Isaiah Levine's sister, Jaylise Hernandez, remembers her brother. One of 15 siblings, his main priority was his family.
He was a joker. Like, he always wanted to make you happy. He liked to hang out with his friends. That's one thing he put for a lot of things was his friends. He loves his family, especially Mama Love. Loved her most.
Police say the shooting happened near the intersection of Delancey and Suffolk Streets just after 8:30 Friday evening. Officers found the teenager unconscious after being shot in the face. He was taken to Bellevue Hospital but could not be saved. A 24-year-old man was also shot but is expected to recover. Witnesses say the intersection was packed with people enjoying the warm evening when the shooting happened.
We just heard 5 pop. Pop, 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 pop.
Very loud, so we knew it was on this block. Meantime, sources tell us Levine was a member of the Pitt Street Crew gang. He had at least 8 prior arrests, including 2 robberies. His family says he had been incarcerated for the past 8 months, but had been released 10 days ago.
Excited, that's why he wanted to be outside. He was excited. He's been in there so long.
Levine's death is the latest in an alarming rise of teenagers killed by guns. According to the NYPD, fatal shootings of victims aged 17 and younger nearly tripled this year compared to the same period last year. Levine's family says he was a good person and didn't deserve what happened to him.
It just needs to stop, that's it. But it's too late to speak now. It's one of my own. We love him with all our heart. He's never forgotten. And that's Isaiah. We love him.
Police have not said whether the shooting was gang-related or if Levine or the other male victim were targeted. Meantime, they have also not released any information about possible suspects. On the Lower East Side, Kieran Dillon, CBS.
New video this morning on a deadly stabbing on the Lower East Side. Police say a delivery worker was killed and his e-bike was stolen. CBS 2's Christina Fan is live at the scene. Christina?
Good morning, Cindy. Delivery workers in the city say they are in constant fear of being robbed. The e-bikes that they ride for their jobs can cost upwards of thousands of dollars and make them a prime target for thieves. Saturday morning, a 51-year-old man lost his life over his.
Police need help this morning identifying the suspect seen on screen dressed in a hoodie. They say the man stabbed a food delivery driver to death while robbing the victim of his e-bike. Officers found the 51-year-old victim with a slash wound to his face and a stab wound to the stomach around 1 a.m. Saturday near Sarah D. Roosevelt Park.
We don't want to fight with anybody. We just protect ourselves.
CBS 2's Maurice Dubois recently spoke with 2 delivery workers who say their jobs put them under the constant threat of robbery. They formed a group known as the Delivery Boys to patrol the Willis Avenue Bridge after their shifts, after dozens of workers were beaten and robbed of their bikes and livelihoods while on the job.
Every day I'm worrying something can happen to me on the street.
We have a guy got shot just because they want to take his bike.
In a recent survey, 54% of delivery workers, many of them immigrants, reported being robbed. About 30% say they were assaulted during the robbery. Saturday's stabbing marks the 11th delivery worker killed on the job so far this year.
And again, police have not yet identified the suspect wanted for this most recent robbery. If you recognize him from the surveillance video, you are asked to give Crime Stoppers a call. We're live on the Lower East Side. Christina Fan, CBS 2 News.
Christina, thank you. One of the victims told 12 News' Courtney Sisk he feels a constant need to wear body armor in this city.
Bullets fly in a driveway near North 48th Street and Lusher Avenue Sunday night.
I heard my girlfriend scream. I looked over. I noticed it was a black male that was pointing a gun to her head.
Surveillance footage captured it all. Take a closer look. You see the 39-year-old Milwaukee man and his girlfriend parked in their driveway. Then a man walks up with a gun drawn.
It was just almost like an ambush.
That's when the victim, who does not want to be named, pulled out his gun.
My instinct kicked in to defend her and myself.
He ran to the back of his car where he saw another person and started firing. He was shot twice in the leg and required surgery.
You were wearing a bulletproof vest and you were armed yourself. Why is that?
I feel like I live in a war zone and I was prepared to go to war.
His girlfriend did not suffer physical injuries, but says she is traumatized.
The city of Milwaukee residents should not feel threatened, should not feel like if they step outside their doors that they're going to be met with, guns and, aggravated assaults and, driving, that could potentially kill them.
He pleads with the city and Milwaukee police to find the gunman.
I need them to, work this case as if it happened to them.
In Milwaukee, Courtney Sisk, WISN 12 News.
Involved in the case of a Hofstra University student burned and blinded in a horrific acid attack.
And the reward for information is now $40,000. CBS News' Jennifer McLogan spoke with the family and has an update and the warning here. The video from the attack may be difficult to watch.
How are you getting this strength and courage to fight?
A lot of it has to do with my prayers. I'm very spiritual, especially ever since this happened to me.
What happened to the 22-year-old pre-med college student sparked worldwide outrage. Nafia Ikram suffered an acid attack on the driveway of her Elmont family home last March. The FBI stepping in to double the reward, $40,000 now, to catch the unknown assailant.
How is your daughter doing? It's automatic. Did they find the person yet? And when we said no, they're like, really? 6 months going?
6 months of surgeries, eye, nostrils, lips, face, in and out of the hospital with her parents at her side. Nafia focusing on the little successes.
Even when I smile, you can see more teeth.
Nassau police and the FBI are working jointly to solve this. They say Nafia and her family had no known enemies and received no threats in this unprovoked attack. Ahmed Mohammed is with the Council on American-Islamic Relations.
If it's information that has anything to do with Nafia's crime, we really beg you. We ask everyone who's out there.
Video shows a wild shootout in broad daylight. Take a closer look. That's a plainclothes officer from the New Rochelle Police Department jumping out of his car, firing his weapon, then running. The officer is a part of a team of officers from Westchester County who tracked down murder suspect Purcell Lamont Ross here at the Ingersoll houses in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, after getting a tip. But as soon as Ross spotted the officers, they say he started shooting at them, and they returned fire. The gunplay terrorized people who live in this area.
I was on my way to church, and I heard the shots. I had to wait, and they wasn't letting nobody in and out, but I'm glad they got it.
Those shots, depending on what time they happened, could have hit any innocent bystander.
It happened here on Myrtle Avenue in Fleet Place around 10:30 Sunday morning. Bullets went flying everywhere, even pierced a glass window of a business across the street. Ross would not go easy, allegedly firing at the officers until his gun ran out of bullets. That's when Ross surrendered. Ross was wanted for the murder of cab driver Andreas Valenzuela in New Rochelle. Authorities say he's also suspected of attempted murder in Connecticut and sex trafficking in Virginia. Ross is now in the custody of the FBI.
You're killing innocent people. Could have been me, my daughter, anybody. That's crazy.
Is on for the shooters who killed 2 Detroit parents with a 9-month-old baby in the car. We're glad you're with us for Local 4 News at 5. Off the top this afternoon, police are calling the shooting last night a targeted hit.
And that comes as we're getting a new look at clearer security camera video of the moments leading up to that shooting. Sean Lay is live tonight. And Sean, from what I understand, they were just sitting in the car.
Exactly. We continue to uncover disturbing details about all of this, Kimberly, including this young mom sitting in the passenger seat of the car holding her 9-month-old baby boy right to her. Right through the alley here, 2 gunmen rushed up to the car on either side, fired into the car. The young mom was killed. The boy's young father was also killed. Somehow, that little boy was not hit. He's okay. He's with his grandmother tonight. All of this taking place right here in front of 8 different cameras, giving us a more clear look of who police are after right now.
The offenders came from the north. Both of them were armed with handguns, gun in hand, ran up to the vehicle, directly to the vehicle, and fired shots into the vehicle.
Detroit Homicide Commander Mike McGinnis walking us through new, more clear video capturing what police are calling a shocking, targeted hit. 2 young men dressed in dark clothing rushing up to a car and opening fire multiple times. A young father, Benson Lindsay, and his girlfriend, Marche Nash, both 22, were killed. Marche was holding the couple's 9-month-old son in her arms. Somehow those shots did not hit that baby boy, but did take away his parents forever.
You're a kid growing up without your parents, that in and of itself is going to bring trauma to you. It's just horrific. I mean, it's just no words for it. I can't even imagine what the families are going through.
Police were seen comforting that little boy after the shooting. Police and community members now pleading for anyone who knows these gunmen to call Crime Stoppers.
Someone knows. Someone always knows. It's the behavior that is unacceptable, and we cannot accept it anymore. You got 2 families that have to bury 2 22-year-olds. Now you've got a 9-month-old who is out here who has to be raised by the parents and at some point told the story of what happened.
Are in jail accused of attempting to dismember and bury the body of one of their girlfriends. The 17-year-old victim had been missing for 10 days before her body was found.
Team 12's Adriana Loya spoke to the suspect's family, who say the brothers did not kill the teen mom. We do want to warn you, the details are graphic.
This is where Destiny Munoz lived with a boyfriend and 1-year-old son, but also where police found her body wrapped in plastic and duct tape, stuffed inside a plastic container.
Just to hear that it's right here in the neighborhood, it's horrifying.
A 17-year-old woman is dead, and 2 brothers, Daniel Blas Torrehabla and Edwin Humberto Chavez Blas, facing felony charges, accused of trying to dismember and bury her body. Police say Daniel and Destiny Munoz were in a relationship and lived at this home near Central and Ruth Ave. But on October 5th, Daniel's family reported her missing. Court records say that Daniel showed up to his parents' home with a large plastic tow container in the backseat of his Honda that was emitting a strong odor of decomposing matter. The brothers allegedly moved the container from the Honda to a truck and fled. Police later arriving at the couple's home where her body was found in the container in the truck. Records say inside the home, officers found evidence of blood splatter, chemical treatment cleanup, and no furniture.
They were emptying everything out of the house, and they weren't packing anything. They were just emptying it out.
Neighbor Tanya Peraza recalls seeing 2 Hispanic men throwing away furniture along the road.
Just two guys.
I didn't really pay attention to that.
Court documents say 2 days before her body was discovered, Edwin went to Home Depot and purchased a plastic container, a chainsaw, latex gloves, and several rolls of duct tape. In an interview with detectives, Daniel alleged Destiny shot herself in the face after an argument and claimed he kept her body in a plastic container because he wanted to remain close to her. Police say after she was dead, he used her cell phone to message her family so they wouldn't worry about her.
That's just, it's horrible to hear, especially when she was so young and leaving a young child.
Off camera, the family of the suspected brothers tell me they are sad about what happened, but firmly believe they did not kill Destiny Munoz.
An 85-year-old man in the Bronx. The attack happened Tuesday night in Van Cortlandt Village. Police say that the armed suspect demanded money from the victim, who was about to go inside his home. When the victim refused, he was kicked to the ground. Police say the suspect then took the man's wallet before taking off in a gray four-door sedan. The victim was treated for a knee injury.
An update now on the shooting of a 14-year-old boy last Thursday at a Harlem bus stop. Police are hoping new surveillance video will lead them to the gunman. The suspect fired 2 rounds at the teenager as he was getting on the M1 bus at West 139th Street and Lenox Avenue. The boy was grazed in the left side of the head and was taken to Harlem Hospital in stable condition. The bus driver narrowly missed getting shot as well. Police say the suspect then fled on foot.
Well, new surveillance tonight showing the moments when a deli worker in East Harlem was stabbed to death by a customer. Police believe it started with a fight because the worker refused to give the suspect a discount. Chris Welch live in East Harlem with an update on the investigation, plus new details on the killing of a delivery driver over the weekend. Chris.
Yeah, Steve, police aren't necessarily calling this a trend, but they are calling the fact that 2 men were stabbed to death just days apart disturbing. And tonight, the perpetrators responsible are still out there.
2 senseless homicides of hard-working individuals who were trying to make a living.
One happened right here, outside this East Harlem bodega at 102nd Street and 2nd Avenue. Police say this man, still on the loose, wanted employees to give him store credit. When they refused, he went outside and proceeded to pound on the store's windows. What happens next, captured on this surveillance video from the business next door. The 2 employees went outside to confront the man. The suspect pulls out a knife, stabs both victims. One of them pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital.
I still can't believe he's gone. You know,
all his loved ones don't believe it. It's a shocking moment for us.
Police say the suspect is a Hispanic male around 30 years old. Incident number 2 happened over the weekend on the Lower East Side.
New Yorkers, it doesn't feel safe to ride the subway. Police have released new video of a suspect wanted in a glass bottle attack on a train platform. Robert Moses is at the station in Chelsea this morning. Robert, what's going on over there?
Rosanna, we know that a safe subway system is vital to this city's recovery. People simply won't ride if they don't feel safe. And that's a big part of the reason why these recent attacks, including the one here at the West 28th Street station, are so alarming.
Police continue to search for this suspect, who they say came up to a 23-year-old man waiting on a platform at the West 28th Street subway station late Monday night and hit him in the head with a glass bottle. He suffered injuries to his neck, right ear, and the back of his head. Police are also still looking for this suspect, wanted for stabbing another man early on the morning of October 2nd inside the West 4th Street station.
There's more police in the subways. We put safety security cameras in every single station. And again, you're safer in the subway than you are anywhere in New York City.
While the latest numbers show transit crime is down more than 12% this year compared to last, September saw an increase in grand larcenies, felony assaults, and robberies compared to September of last year.
We surged officers into the subway many months ago. It had a very positive effect. It's the biggest subway presence by the NYPD in decades, and it worked. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be moments when certain types of crime go up again that we have to address. So we'll use precision policing. We'll get out there and
are involved in a shooting at a house party in the Bronx. Police released this video. They say the shooting happened at a home off Oakley Street just before 1 in the morning, October 17th. Police say the man got into an argument with the 58-year-old victim, then shot him in the legs and rear. Police say the gunman and woman left the party together after the shooting. Anyone with any information is urged to call NYPD Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. Katie Johnston for CBSN, New York.
Tonight, the NYPD is looking for the gunman who opened fire in broad daylight, sending 4 men to the hospital.
It happened right in front of a Brooklyn deli, sending workers scrambling for cover. CBS 2's Dave Carlin joins us live in Flatbush with more. Dave?
Christina Maurice, officers are guarding this deli because it was the backdrop of a daytime daring crime that left 4 men wounded. The brazen shooting was on a busy Brooklyn sidewalk outside Express Deli Grocery on Glenwood Road in Flatbush. 4 men were shot and wounded around 10:30 Thursday morning.
Shots, 4 shots. Yeah, rapid. Po.
That man, Simon, gave us his first name only and described chaos after police say the unidentified gunman rounded the corner onto Glenwood from Nostrand Avenue, fired at the men, and fled into the subway.
Scrambling, running.
The clerk behind the counter at the deli took cover on the floor below the cash register.
I heard the shot and lay down, and that's it.
He said the 4 victims in their early to mid-30s looked familiar to him, but he doesn't know them by name.
Just always hang out in the street.
The 4 victims.
Just hang out in the street all the time.
3 of the 4 men were shot in the legs, and the 4th shot in the hand. All are expected to recover. Police responded even before the first 911 call after getting an alert from ShotSpotter, the technology NYPD uses to detect
few weeks when the kids were walking out of the doors here, walking up the street here, when all of a sudden a gun battle breaks out right in front of them. The kids run back here for cover into the school. Fortunately, nobody was hit by all of these bullets that were fired, multiple rounds in total. Now, here's that video where you can see the gun battle playing out from multiple angles. You see the young kids walking hand in hand with their parents as school gets out just before 3 o'clock when gunfire then echoes through a nearby parking lot, causing them to retreat for cover. All of this happened feet from the entrance to the boys' prep school on East 150th Street. And this morning, police are trying to identify the 5 guys in their teens or 20s who were shooting at one another. Meanwhile, yesterday in the Bronx, school safety agents found students carrying guns at 2 different high schools in the borough. A 15-year-old prompted a lockdown at Mott Haven High after that was found in his backpack. 18-year-old brought a gun in his backpack at Stevenson High in the Bronx as well. Both were discovered during security scans. Well, then at FDR High School in Brooklyn, a 17-year-old was taken in after a loaded gun was found on him inside the building. He was fighting with someone in the cafeteria, and that is when it was discovered. There are no security scanning machines in that school.
We're learning more about a deadly accident on a movie set in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Moments ago, we learned actor Alec Baldwin fired the prop gun that killed 1 person and injured another. The victims, crew members, are on the Netflix Western film Rust. 42-year-old director of photography Helena Hutchins was rushed to the helicopter and then taken to a local trauma center where she died from her injuries. 48-year-old director Joel Souza was also injured in the accident. The movie starring Baldwin and Frances Fisher had just begun filming at the Bonanza Creek Ranch. Baldwin actually shared a photo from the set of Rust earlier today while in costume. Production has been stopped for the time being.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. The NYPD is searching for a man suspected of assaulting and punching an 11-year-old girl as well as her 15-year-old classmate at a park in Kips Bay. This happened Wednesday afternoon near the intersection of Perlman Place and East 16th Street. Police say the man also wrapped his hands around the victim's neck. If you recognize the suspect in these surveillance images, call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS.
Breaking news, a father overcome with grief after learning about the death of his missing 3-year-old son.
Police recovered the body of Major Harris this afternoon near 35th and Roar. Investigators tell 12 News his body was found in a container near some garbage cans. That location is several blocks north of 37th and Clark, where police discovered the child's mother dead 1 week ago today. And of course, we have live team coverage of this breaking story. We begin with Derek Rose.
Yeah, Toya, you mentioned off the top, family's heartbreak. It really is a community's heartbreak, as we have seen here today with the news of Milwaukee police detectives and search teams finding the body of Major Harris here in